Dear student, welcome to this lecture on texting. In this lecture, I am going to discuss fabric comfort properties. In earlier, also I have discussed two fabric comfort properties. One is the air permeability and as the moisture vapor permeability. In this lecture, I am going to cover other important aspect of thermophysiological comfort property, that is the transmission of liquid water. Now, in this lecture, I will discuss what is the meaning of the term liquid water transport and why it is important. Thereafter, I will discuss the mechanism of liquid water transport. There are two stages of liquid water transport. One is the wetting and second one is the heating. Thereafter, I will discuss the importance and lastly, I will discuss what are the measurement procedure for wetting and waking of wetting. So let us start with liquid water transport, and at the outset I would like to discuss the importance of moisture transport. In this regard, I would like to tell you this actually I already discussed. That is, uh, what is the importance of moisture transport in maintaining the comfort of a human being? I have already discussed one thing, that is our body is continuously producing heat, and at the same time our core body temperature 37.5, and the main objective about is that the core body temperature should not rise by +3 degrees centigrade or should not fall -3 degrees centigrade, because in either of the two cases it is dangerous. And perspiration plays a very important role in maintaining the body temperature. Now, perspiration may be of two types. One is insensible transport, insensible perspiration, where moisture is transported in form of vapor. Why I am saying that it is insensible? Because we cannot sense it. Another one is sensible moisture transport. Here, moisture is transported in form of water or in form of liquid. Since it is liquid, you can sense it very easily. So let us see what are the importance of liquid water. About first one is the, as I have told you, perspiration is the important mechanism which regulates body temperature, and there are two forms of perspiration. One is the sensible perspiration, which is in form of liquid, and the other one is insensible perspiration, which is in form of vapor. So insensible perspiration, in this form, the perspiration is transported in form of vapor and it passes through the air gaps between the ears in a fabric. Since it is transported in form of vapor, we cannot sense it, and that's why it is known as insensible perspiration. In fact, our body is continuously producing perspiration, and continuously moisture is lost in form of vapor from our body. Okay, and we cannot feel it because it is in form of vapor. The second one is the liquid. This form occurs at higher sweating rate and it wets the clothing which is in contact with the skin. Unlike insensible perspiration, liquid or sensible perspiration takes place in form of liquid, and we can feel it because it is wet the clothing which is contact with our skin. Now, in case of insensible perspiration, under comfortable condition, the vapor is removed from the vicinity of the body and carrying the heat away with it. Just now I have told that perspiration plays a very important role in maintaining the body temperature. When more and more heat is produced in our body, more and more perspiration will be produced and heat will be removed along with this perspiration in form of vapor. But problem arises when the perspiration not removed in form of insensible perspiration. Rather, it will condense and form the liquid perspiration. Perspiration may be prevented from escaping through the fabric system if the fabric is impermeable or during heavy work when more and more perspiration come out of the body. That means, just now I have told you the perspiration may condense in liquid, and this is possible in two conditions. First condition, when the fabric is impermeable, that means fabric is not allowing the moisture to go in form of vapor. So in that case, what will happen? Moisture will condense. And secondly, during the heavy work, when more and more perspiration are produced, then more and more liquid will condense. Okay. In this situation, water will condense at some points in the clothing system. The transfer of additional moisture vapor through the system will be impeded by the liquid water layer so formed, and eventually condensation takes place at inner layer of the system. That means when huge amount of perspiration is produced and that perspiration is not in a position to go outside the fabric or clothing system in form of vapor, it will condensate. And as a result of that, it will wet of the skin as well as the inner layer of the fabric. Now let us see what is the importance. In sensible perspiration may cause discomfort in two ways. In hot weather, perspiration is the only problem, and the sensation of wetness, though it is nuisance or uncomfortable, it does not lead to a danger unless the temperature is so wet that heat stroke or dehydration occurs. Now, what I mean to say here, in the hot weather, the problem is the perspiration will create an uncomfortable sensation. Why? Because this perspiration will condense in form of water and it will wet our skin as well as fabric, and it will create one sort of uncomfortable situation. But this is not a very dangerous case until and unless our temperature is very high. That means it increased, the core body temperature is increased by 3 degrees centigrade. Okay, so that hypothermia occurs and there is a great chance of death. But this is very rare. This can take place when the temperature is very high and may cause heat stroke or dehydration. But the problem is in the cold weather. In the cold weather, actually what happens, this water will condense into ice. And as a result, there is a chance of frost biting. That means the water between the skin and the clothing will convert it into ice, and we will try to first reduce the surface temperature, and certainly thereafter it will try to reduce the core body temperature. And also because of the fact that the insulation system is completely disrupted because of the generation of the water and the replacement of air, the body heat will go from our body to the atmosphere, and as a result of that, the temperature of our body will reduce by more than 3 degrees centigrade, resulting in the situation hypothermia. Okay, and there is a great danger of death. So this I have explained, I have mentioned here. In cold water, there is a major risk if, for instance, the heavy work has been progressed and then it is discontinued. Moisture that produced cannot evaporate. Condensation will occur, resulting in the wetness. The liquid moisture which form inside the fabric act as a much better conductor of heat than the air which it has displaced. Because right now I have told you the insulation is provided by the air. Now, when this air is replaced by the water, then what will happen? The microclimate will be better conductor of heat. As a result, the heat will flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. In this case, initially the body temperature is high and it will remove from our body to the surroundings because surroundings is much less temperature. So as a result of loss of heat from our body, there is a chance of hypothermia which may possibly cause the death of a person. Okay, so considering this, what we have to do first, the fabric should be designed in such a manner that moisture should be removed as much as possible. And if there is any sort of condensation of moisture occurs, the resulting water should be immediately removed from the clothing system. And this immediate removal of this water from the clothing system can take place only by means of wicking. Because wicking is a process by means of which liquid water is transferred from the body or clothing system to the surroundings. Now let us see what are the two different processes that I have told you how the moisture vapor can go outside. The first is the diffusion of the water vapor to the fabric. This is governed by the fabric structure, the measurement of air permeability and the moisture vapor permeability through the fabric provides a good idea to the ability to pass water vapor in large quantities. That means how easily the moisture vapor will pass from the fabric. This I have already covered in the previous lecture. And the second one is that by wicking of the liquid water away from the skin using the mechanism of capillary transport. That means what I mean to say here the water is removed from our body by means of wicking, and wicking is basically takes place by means of capillary action. The ability of the fabric to do this is dependent on the surface properties of the constituent fibers and the total surface area. This is governed by the structure of the yarn, structure of the fabric. That means here the insensible moisture pass to the fabric in form of vapor, and here the sensible perspiration coming out of the body in form of liquid. The wicking promotes quick drying and a faster cooling in the hot environment or where the perspiration is present in the skin. Now, if the water is remain between the skin and clothing, then water cannot be dried easily. For the quick drying of the water, water has to come to the outer surface of the fabric, and from this surface, by means of evaporation, water will go out. Now, next is in the case of the clothing with high wickability, the moisture coming out of the skin spread throughout the fabric offers and by means of and dry cleaning, and the spreading of the liquid enables the moisture to evaporate quickly from the large surface. That means what I mean to say in this case here is that if the fabric has got very wicking property, the water will come out from the body and it will spread onto the surface of the fabric, and since the surface area will be more, the evaporation rate will be more and the water can easily evaporate. So that's why wicking is essential. The first one, the wicking will enable of the to keep our skin dry, because as a result of wicking, the water will remove from our skin to the fabric surface. And if the fabric surface is very good wicking property, then what will happen? The water will be spreaded, and as a result of this, the water will be dry because of evaporation. So this I have mentioned. Wicking is a prime factor in determining the comfort of the clothing worn in the tropical climates or of the active wear. Remember, wicking property is very important for the active sportswear. That means the sportswear like jersey while playing in football or hockey or any other active sports. Okay. Now, liquid transport is taking place by means of two ways. First is the wetting, and second one is wetting. Liquid water transport, the two mechanisms is involved. I will discuss both the mechanism one by one. The first mechanism is wetting, and the second mechanism is now. Here I have mentioned for wetting to take place, the fiber has to be wet by the liquid. When the fiber is wetted by a liquid, the existing fiber-air interface is displaced by a new fiber-liquid interface. This I will explain. The force involved in the equilibrium that exists when a liquid in contact with a solid and vapor at the same time and given by the following equation. See, at the time of wetting, there are three phases of matter together. The first one is a solid matter, which is the fiber of the clothing system. Second one is the liquid, which is nothing but the water of the liquid perspiration. And third one is the air, or you can say the vapor. Okay, that means there are three phases of the material are together. One is the solid, that is the fiber. Another one is the liquid, that is the water. And another one is the gaseous state, or that is the. That means this situation will arise where this lambda represents the interfacial tension that exists between the various combination of solid, liquid, and vapor. I have already mentioned solid, liquid, and vapor. The substrate S, L, and V stands for solid, vapor, and liquid. Okay. Now it will be clear if you can see this diagram. Suppose I am considered two surfaces. One surface is hydrophobic, another surface is hydrophilic. Here we have to define the contact angle. First I am considering hydrophilic water surface. Hydrophilic surface means it will allow the water to spread onto it. See, this is the hydrophilic surface, and this is the hydrophobic surface. Now, because of this hydrophilic surface, water has spread, and contact angle is less. And here, water is not spread, rather, water is in form of spherical drop, and contact angle is very high. Now, water atoms in form of drop because of this surface tension that you might have studied in your past chapter. Now, how to measure the contact angle? You can see this is theta, this is the contact angle, and here this is also the contact angle. What we have to do, we have to draw a tangent onto the surface of the liquid. So this is the liquid, and this is the liquid, and we have to draw a tangent. This is the liquid, and we have to draw a tangent, right? And we have to measure the angle between them. That means this angle, here also this angle. And while considering the angle, remember, we have to consider the angle through the liquid surface. That means here we have to consider this angle, not this angle, because I have told we have to consider the angle through the liquid. That means this is the liquid, and we have to consider the angle here. Similarly, this is the liquid, we have to consider the angle here. So always remember, if the low contact angle, the surface is hydrophilic, whereas in case of the high contact angle, surface is hydrophobic. Okay. Now, this is basically gamma LB. This is the gamma LB. That means this is the interfacial tension between the liquid and vapor. Okay, this is the interfacial tension between the liquid and the solid surface, and this is the interfacial tension between the solid surface and vapor. Now this is I have told you it is the interfacial tension between the liquid and vapor. This is acting in this direction. Now this can be resolved in two directions. One is perpendicular, another one is this horizontal. So along this direction, the component is gamma LV cos theta. So this component is gamma LV cos theta. Now this is basically the inter gamma SB. This gamma SB is acting in this direction. Gamma SB is acting in this direction, and gamma SL is acting in this direction. So gamma SB minus gamma SL will provide the cos component of gamma LV. Okay. So ultimately we have got this equation gamma SB minus gamma SL is equal to gamma LV cos theta. So again I am telling you whether the angle is acute or the angle is obtuse, that will determine whether the weighting is good or weighting is bad. If the angle is smaller or if the angle is acute, the weighting is good. So here you can see the angle is smaller, and here you can see the angle is larger. Angle is obtuse, that means weighting is good. So this is taking place in the case of hydrophilic surface. This is taking place in the case of hydrophobic surface. And at the equilibrium point, this equation is satisfied. So again, you can say here I have explained this. This is the gamma LV. This can be resolved in the two direction, in this direction as well as in this direction. So this direction and this direction, resultant will be now size and the number of capillary path to the fabric are important and is governed by the factors such as fiber diameter, yarn structure, and the fabric structure. The capillary network of the fabric is dependent upon the direction under the consideration, so that the weaving properties to the thickness of the fabric may be different from those in the plane of the fabric. Now remember one thing. The first is the weighting properties. The weighting I have told it depends on whether the surface is hydrophilic or hydrophobic. If the surface is hydrophilic, then the weighting angle will be small and there will be a higher degree of weight. And the reverse is true for the hydrophobic surface. So this is an example where the surface is hydrophilic and the weighting angle is small. And let us see how do we measure the weighting. Weighting is measured at the time in second for a drop of water of 50% sugar solution to sink into the bed. That means what we have to do, the test procedure is very simple, but only we have to be careful that the test result is accurate. What we have to do, we have to keep the fabric surface under taut condition and we have to put a drop of water from certain distance. Now we have to measure the time within which the water disappears. If the time is very short, then we can say the surface is very good weighting, or you can say the surface is hydrophilic surface. Sometimes the surface is so much hydrophilic that the water will be disappear immediately. So in that case, what we have to do, we have to use 50% sugar solution. Now I am now describing the testing setup. The specimen is clamped onto an embroidery frame 150 mm in diameter and held in taut condition. The standard bullet is clamped above 6 mm above the horizontal surface of the sample. So you can say this is the setup. This is the embroidery frame around 150 millimeter diameter. This is the standard bullet, and this bullet is held at a height of 6 millimeter above the horizontal surface. That means from this surface, we have to keep the bullet at 6 millimeter distance. This bullet is filled with a standard tip, and it is filled with distilled water or sometimes 50% silver solution. Now there is a source of light, and you have to view in this direction. See, these two angles should be always equal. Why these two angles are always equal? Because this will give regular reflection and a clear view of whether the water molecules completely disappeared or not. The fabric is illuminated at an angle of 45 degrees that I have told you. This is the light, this is the 45-degree angle making with the surface, and it is also viewed at 45 degrees from the opposite direction. So this is the opposite direction, and it is viewed at an angle 45 degrees, so that any water on the surface reflects light to the appearance. That I have already told you. Because in this case, if the experimental setup is such that you can easily view whether the entire drop of the water is completely absorbed in the fabric. A drop of liquid is allowed to fall from the plate, and the timer is started. Stop the watch, then do. When the diffuse reflection from the liquid vanishes and the liquid is no longer visible. If the time is reduced is less than 2 seconds, the bullet is changed to one containing 50% solvent. This I have already told you. If the time of disappearing the waters drop is very less, that means less than 2 seconds, then this distilled water should be replaced by 50% silver solution. Okay. 5 areas of each specimen are tested for the 3 samples to give a total of 15 measurements. That means what we have to do, we have to take 3 samples, and for each sample we have to measure 5 different areas, and average of 15 readings should be considered as the mean waiting time. Higher the time, less will be the waiting period, and vice versa. That means if a fabric has got very good wettability, the time for disappearance of this water will be very less. Now, after wetting, now we measure the weakness. A strip of fabric 25 is a very simple process. Strip of fabric 25 centimeter into 25 centimeter was suspended vertically with its lower edge in a reservoir of distilled water. The rate of rise of leading edge of the water was then monitored. To detect the position of the water line, ink was added to the water. This is especially applicable in the case of dark colored photo. The measured height of rise is 30 minutes was taken as a direct indication of the weakability of the test. That means this is the simplified experimental setup. This is the stand. With this stand, there is a scale, graduated scale, steel scale you can use, and this is the fabric strip of 25 centimeter into 25 centimeter. Now, this fabric strip is to be suspended from this frame, and you have to apply a clip or something like that, so that the fabric is remain under hot condition. And one dyes or ink which is perfectly soluble in the water may be added to this water, so that when there is a rise of water through this fabric, the level up to which it has risen can be measured or directly read from the scale. Okay, and you have to measure the height of rise in 30 minutes. Okay, higher the time, sorry, higher the length of rise of water column, or rise of water level, better is the reading water. So this is the same thing. This is the phase traffic. This is the height of water. Suppose this is the 10 millimeter or 15 millimeter, whatever it is. This represents the reading height, and this is the result. In order to determine the mass of the water that is taken up, this will depend on the height of the water that has risen. One way of allowing this is to weigh the fabric at the end of the test and hence obtain the mass of the water taken up by the fabric. That means what we have to do here is, apart from the height, what we can do, we can measure what is the amount of water taken up by this fabric and express it as a percentage of the mass of the dry fabric. That means before carrying out this experiment, we have to measure the weight of the fabric, and after the experiment, again we have to measure the weight of the fabric. The difference of these two will give the amount of water that is absorbed. Amount of water that is absorbed by this specimen. And that is expressed in terms of mass of the dry fabric. So this will give you the total absorbency of the fabric, and also along with this leaking height, this will give you the idea how easily the water can be transported by means of water. This. So here we have discussed the another important properties which give the thermophysiological comfort property, that is the liquid water transfer. And I have told that liquid water transfer has got two distinct tests. One is the weighting and we have measured how to determine the weightability, and also we have measured how to determine the leaking properties of the water. Okay. So in the next class, testing, I will discuss the water repellency of the fabric. Here we have discussed the how water can be transported, and in the next class I will discuss water repellency. That means ability of the water to ability of the fabric to repel